although you can hone your style to be so recognizable, it also has to almost become, geez, I don't know,
The trap.
almost a prison.
Yeah.
Yeah, a trap, exactly.
And if they become, let's say they want to change their style and do something different, then all they ever hear is, well, I liked your old stuff better.
Hey, everybody, how you doing? Welcome back to the Another Nobody podcast with me, your favorite nobody, Travis Myers. Today, I'm talking with a very nice, very gracious fella named Kevin Stark, who is an artist in Pauls Valley, Oklahoma, owner-operator of the Stark Art Gallery, and owner-operator of the Toy and Action Figure Museum. Really interesting guy. So, don't take my word for it. Give a listen. Hey, Kevin, how you doing, my friend?
Doing great. How's it going?
It's going good, man. I'm so happy we're able to sit together today. You know, my friends, comedians JT Habersat and Brian Prozan came by and saw you, I don't know, a couple of months ago. And JT got me on the phone. He says, man, Travis, you got to talk to this guy because you would love him and everything he does. And so here we are.
Great.
All right.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun, Brian and JT and I. So yeah, they're great guys.
It's hard to hang out with two comedians and not laugh a little bit.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes, especially with that JT, he just never, he's like constantly on. He jokes and jokes and jokes, you know? And I always have a good time hanging out with him. So I'm curious now. We're going to talk a little bit because you, to me, are a very interesting person in that you have so many different things going on, you know, all wrapped around, you know, yourself as an artist and the art that you create. Now, you live in, what is it, Pauls Valley, Oklahoma, correct?
That's correct. Yes. I live in Pauls Valley, Oklahoma.
And this is your hometown. This is where you were born and raised.
Yeah, I was born and raised here. And I moved away for about 10 years, and I came back for cheap studio rent. So
yes, yeah,
I was living in Norman, Oklahoma, the home of the University of Oklahoma, and was spending, you know, probably $900 a month on rent. And I had a friend here in Pauls Valley who had an empty building. And I said to her, you know, if you rent that to me cheap, I'll fix it up. She thought a minute. She said, well, how about $150 a month? Is that okay? I was like, oh, I can move back for that.
$150 a month?
Yes.
Well, let me tell you, my friend, coming from New York, all right, hearing you complain about $800 a month is ridiculous because that's what I was paying for rent back in the 80s.
Yeah.
And
well,
the idea that you now have
I was paying $500 a month for my house and $300 a month for my studio. So,
wow.
Yeah. But that was back in the 80s.
That was back in the 80s. Okay.
Yeah.
And now how long have you been where you are now, back home?
I moved back here in 1986.
Oh, so quite a while, quite a long time ago.
Yeah, I've been here a while.
Okay.
So, yeah.
1986. In 1986, geez, I was 21 years old and just out of the Army in 1986.
Yeah.
So it's been a while. It's been a while. All right, cool. And now, I'm curious, do you live in your studio, or you just, because you have a studio / gallery, or is everything separate?
In the building that she rented to me, it had a shower and all in the back, and so I could live in it. So I lived in that for a couple of years. But then I bought the building, and then I bought another building, and then I bought another building. So I've got 3 buildings in the downtown area, plus the museum that I have also. So,
right.
But I met a woman who I really liked. We ended up getting married, and she said, no, I'm not living in the studio. And so we have a house. Well, we had a house. We have a house. She passed away in 2010. So
I'm sorry to hear that, my friend.
So I'm still living in the house.
Right.
It's just she's not.
Right. Yes. I'm sorry. But now, So I say you're doing all right with yourself with the real estate. Good, good. Now,
Yeah,
one of these ones, okay, is the Stark Art Gallery. All right.
correct.
And the Stark Art Gallery, if I'm correct, all right, only shows the work of 5 or 6 different artists.
5 different artists. The gallery handles the work of 5 different artists, but they're all me.
Right.
Oh,
Right. You have Kevin Stark yourself, Red Kittens,
he's the
Jet
papa.
Black,
Jet Black
right?
does abstract.
Right. Sam and Chevy,
Yeah, he does kind of wild skater art, I guess.
uh, Ivory Keys,
Now she paints realistic birds.
realistic birds, which are truly realistic. I've seen them; they're phenomenal. And and then of course there is this bad boy Brick Bradley, who's no longer with you though. You had a falling
No,
out with him.
he decided to give up art, and he's driving a truck now.
He's driving a truck now. All
Yeah,
right, all
with
right.
a
But these really in real life are just kind of alter egos of yourself.
correct.
And
Yes.
so you're kind of like a method actor where you dive in directly into the characters.
Yeah. Well, see, I've always liked to do a lot of different styles and different mediums and things like that. And when I would have a one-man show, art show, people would say, they'd look around and go, is this a group show? Because this looks like it's done by several different people. And so I would kind of explain, no, it's all me. Well, then I just hit on the idea of uh, I created Red Kittens. And actually, it started as a joke. Everything I do starts as a joke, and then it becomes something. Okay.
Right.
A lady here in Pauls Valley who also owns an art gallery, she was asking me, well, who is going to be your featured artist at the next art walk? Well, I started the art walk here in Pauls Valley also called the Fifth Friday Art Walk. 4 months out of the year, is a month with 5 Fridays. So I knew as a small town, we couldn't, kind of keep going with an art walk every month, but we can do 4
Right.
a year. So she wanted to know who my next artist was going to be. And just on the spot, I just made it up. I said, oh, well, his name is Red Kittens. She goes, Red Kittens, that's his name? I said, yep, that's his name. She says, well, where is he from? I said, he's from Amarillo, Texas. Yeah, he's from Amarillo, Texas. And she said, well, what does he do? What does he paint? I said, he paints red kitties, red kittens. That's why he paints red cats. And so I had like less than 3 weeks to go and create a body of work.
Mm-hmm.
And so I sat down at my dining room table and I drew out 4 or 5 red kitties. Okay. And actually, the first one I drew ended up being the one. And then I spent all this time, the next 2 to 3 weeks, creating all this artwork. And in my gallery for the art walk, I unveiled Red Kittens. Now, I also created the persona and the look of Red Kittens. Now, I was like you, for years, I had a goatee. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The day of the show, shave the goatee off, put the short haired wig on, put the sunglasses on, dress off. And I kind of talk like this, you see, because Red, he's a little bit more gruff than I am, and which is great because Red can say a lot of things I can't. Okay. So I had people coming in here that had no idea that I was Red. And I
Yes.
think because I shaved the goatee, it really threw them off, But my older sister and older brother, for months, did not know that I was Red Kittens. Okay.
Oh, they didn't catch on. Your brother and sister,
No.
and they came to the show.
I said, either I'm a really great actor or they're really dumb, but maybe a little of both. Yeah. Well, they didn't encounter him firsthand for a while, but
Right.
I had a show in Norman of just Red Kittens work. And so I was there as Red Kittens.
Mm-hmm.
And any show that any of these separate artists have, I show up as that character for the opening. anyway, my sister shows up and asks my girlfriend, "Where's Kevin?" And my girlfriend says, "Well, he's right over there, you know." And she's like, "No, that's not Kevin. Where's Kevin?" Says, "No, that's him. Really, go over there." And so I had to drop character and everything to get her to believe that it was me.
That
Okay.
is too funny. That
Yeah.
is too funny.
So anyway, it started as a joke and then it has grown into this huge thing because Red Kittens, he outsells me 5-1. So
That's great. And it's great too because, well, I'm sure you can get, followings for each of these artists. Well, just like you said, he sells more. So who came? Red Kittens, you know, came up on the scene. He was the first guy to kind of
yeah.
create this. I don't even know what to call it. This new
Mhm.
thing that you were doing.
Yeah.
Who was number two?
Well, number two was Jet Black because I had this idea. I wanted to paint these thunderstorms at night. I had taken some photos of a thunderstorm at night with an old bad cell phone, and they were really distorted and looked uh, a lot like just abstract art. And so I wanted to do those. So I started that series. Well, then I hit on, well, this could be another artist, you know? And so Jet Black became the artist that paints those. And so I've done several of those pieces, and he has his own following. And he looks more like a rockabilly guy because he fronts a rockabilly band as a singer.
Right.
So, he does that.
This is
After
awesome.
that was probably Salmon Chevy was after that. And Salmon does these wild paintings that are actually based on my sketchbook drawings. So they have a real cartoon quality to them. And they're somewhat macabre at times, but very much like graphic art, but large acrylic paintings. Whereas Jet, he works in oil, and Red Kittens works in acrylic also. And then after that was Ivory Keys, who I like to paint highly detailed works also. And so that's where she came in. And I've always liked to paint birds, even as a kid, did that. So I had her do the birds. And so that worked out. Now, when people see my gallery, I have all of these artists separated so that you see their work all together. It's not all mixed up,
Yes. Yes.
and that helps people to kind of wrap their head around it. And so when they see, especially after they've seen Sam and Chevy's work and then seen Jet Black's work, then they run into Ivory Keys' work. I explain to them the reason for the different personas is that someone who paints like Ivory, they don't usually paint like these other two. And they
Correct.
don't paint like Red. And they don't paint like me. So, so that kind of becomes understanding to them then that,
Oh,
they,
I completely get it. And in fact, I would imagine, and correct me if I'm wrong, that although this kind of happened as a goof, if you will, you did it, as a joke.
right.
It probably though is very, very freeing because I know so many artists who get, famous and unfamous who get tied into their style. This is my style. This is what I'm trying to put out there. This is my personality, and they never deviate,
Right.
which can also, although you can hone your style to be so recognizable, it also has to almost become, geez, I don't know,
The trap.
almost a prison.
Yeah.
Yeah, a trap,
And
exactly.
and if they become let's say they want to change their style and do something different, then all they ever hear is, well, I liked your old stuff better,
Of course.
or I like your newer stuff better, or whatever, then people are constantly comparing the work from what
Of
they
course.
did to what they're doing now.
Hmm.
Whereas with me, it's like people just immediately get it. Oh, well, you're just a different person over here. So it's part of it. And it's part of what I do. So people tend to accept it more, which I like. Uh, But, in the art world, even the people who control the art world, gallery owners and people like that, collectors, they want to be able to see your work and immediately know who it is.
They want
they
they
want to
want a
say, "Oh,
defined
I can
product.
tell a Kevin Stark from 50 yards," and
Well, exactly. Like I said, a defined product. This is the product that we have, and
right,
bang, this is it.
right,
And so you've really, in a very clever way, freed yourself up to do anything you want to do. And
yeah,
in the event that you come up with something else, like we just mentioned your friend Brick Bradley, who's left, but
yeah,
there may be somebody else that walks in the door tomorrow.
oh yeah. Well, I already have a couple more I'm working on.
Well, there you go. You see? No, I find that really, really, really fun, man. I was going to say interesting or fascinating, but really it's fun,
Yeah.
and I'm sure it keeps you know your creativity flowing.
Well, to be honest, the reason that Brick Bradley is no longer around was the inability to get his work manufactured. Okay. What he was going to do, what we tried to get him to do, was that he would take shaving cream and create a shaving cream sculpture. Okay. Then the plan was to 3D scan that and then have that cut out in foam. Okay. Like styrofoam. There'd be some this big, but there would be some 8 feet tall. Okay. And huge. But the plant that was going to be manufacturing these pieces just couldn't get their shit together. Okay. And it was very frustrating. I just couldn't get, I had ordered something from them that, that I never heard from them. And 2 years later, I'm going to ask them about some other stuff. And they go, "Oh, did you ever want that giant puppet we were doing for you?" I was like, "Yeah, I kind of been waiting on you guys to call me." Well, it's out in the shop. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, this still wasn't working." So until I find another, manufacturing plant that can do what I need done, Brick he's retired for now.
Yes, he's retired.
Yeah.
He's enjoying life on the road.
Yes.
Now, besides all of these different characters, who I do find fascinating, very fun, people please, and again, what is it? We'll mention it now in case I forget. Uh, StarkArt.com,
It's kevinstarkart.com.
KevinStarkArt.com. Check it out. Look through this guy's stuff. It's really, really fun, and I'm mentioning it now just in case I forget when we get to the end. But you also are the president, I should say, of Kilowatt Comics.
Yeah. Well, president, sole owner, and sole employee.
Right. But that being
I
said,
really like working with Kevin Stark. He shows up, he's on time, he gets his work done, you know, and I never argue with him. So,
never. Good for
yeah,
you. Good for you. So, and with that, you have what? It's Geezer Comics, Roboman Steve,
it's
Horse
the
Burrow,
incredible Robo Man Steve. Yes,
the Incredible Roboman, excuse me, uh, Vervina Jones, Detective of the Dead, all
yes,
right,
uh
and
huh.
Amazon Don. Tell us a little bit about well, it's not a comic series, it's several series of comics.
Well, the Geezer comics have been out for a long time. The others are pieces I'm working on now that are going to go into a large comic book that has a little bit of story in each of those. So we'll have a collected works of those characters.
Okay, kind of
All
like a short stories kind of deal.
Yeah, yeah, kind of an introduction to them, and some will be stories that are start and finish in the book, but others may be continued. So yeah, so working on that.
Right, right. But again, something you just couldn't say no to.
Well, I couldn't say no. My girlfriend accuses me of having ADHD,
Yes.
but I actually do finished projects. So, and I figure Leonardo da Vinci had to have ADHD too. So, yeah.
Well, whatever it is, it's definitely a positive in both cases.
Well, anybody who gets anything done has apparently got ADHD.
I guess so. I guess so. So I'm happy to join the club then.
Yeah.
Now, and of course, with all of these different artists and the comics, all right, you also create music, right?
Yeah.
With Squeaky Burger Music.
It's just called Squeaky Burger.
Squeaky Burger. All right.
That's the name of
So
the
it's
band.
not. That's the name of the band, not the. There's no label or anything involved in this.
What do you mean? Like a
No,
like
it's not
record
Squeaky.
label?
When I said Squeaky Burger Music, I thought it was
Oh,
a label. It's just the band Squeaky
yeah.
Burger.
Yeah, that's the
Correct.
name. See, it's the name of the band. We wanted, again, it started as a joke. No, we actually have been playing since 1997. Okay. But the lineup has changed a lot over the years. The one consistent member has been me.
Yes.
Because what we did was I would open up my gallery, my studio on Friday afternoon to anybody who wanted to come by and visit. And I wouldn't work. We would just sit around, drink beer and visit and all that. Well, I had tons of instruments. So we all started picking up instruments and started playing. Now, we didn't want to play other people's music. We just made everything up on the spot. And so really it was just an excuse to drink beer and make music. Well, then members of the band were like, well, we want to play gigs. I'm like, I've been in so many bands. I don't want to play gigs. But I relented. And I said, well, we got to have a name if we're going to play gigs, because I had to go get the gigs. And so we first called ourselves Dog Toy. And then we found out there was a band already called Dog Toy. So we went for my dog's favorite toy, which was his Squeaky Burger.
There
Now,
you go.
that's the only toy he had he wouldn't tear the squeaker out of for some reason. Anyway, we wanted a name that didn't immediately tell you what kind of music we played. Okay. Squeaky Burger, what do they do? You know, whereas heavy metal bands like Metallica and Megadeth, immediately what kind of music they play. You know, country bands are a lot the same way and stuff. And so with Squeaky Burger, it didn't tell you what we played, but it also had a sense of humor to it. Mm-hmm. So really, after a while, we've played lots of gigs, but after a while, I hit on this idea of let's do movie soundtracks. So what I do is I create the movie title, the plot of the characters, and then I come up with a set of songs that would be on the soundtrack if there was a soundtrack, if there was a movie.
Yeah.
And so what we do is we do soundtrack music for Mexican movies that haven't been made yet.
Right.
And we've then expanded. Now we also do movie soundtracks for Canadian movies that haven't been made yet.
Okay.
And of course, they'll probably never be made, but that's okay. We don't care.
Right.
We have done over 150 movies.
150 movies.
Over 150 movies.
Oh, wow. Wow. You got to get more of that up on your site, because I think you only have 3 or 4 videos up there at the moment.
Yeah, we need to get more on there. But, I'm not very tech savvy. So
yes,
when it's left to me, it ain't getting done.
Again, these are soundtracks for fictitious movies, or movies, not fictitious movies that have yet to be made. Okay.
Sure.
And predominantly or solely from Mexico and or just recently from Canada.
Correct. And we're considering doing some Puerto Rican movies. We have tons of movies that we've done. Now, a funny thing, a weird thing that happened was that there was a film crew here doing an interview with me and all. And so I was telling them about this stuff. And so they were looking at, I also create the movie posters and programs and things like that. And they're looking at the movie posters and all. And they said, have you got treatments for these? I said, oh yeah, I write a synopsis for every movie. And they said, could we have a few of these and maybe try to write a script or two? And I was like, sure. So I gave them like 25 of them. And they picked two, uh, La Flor de la Muerte, the flower of death, and what was the other one? Three Moons Over Mexico, which is a vampire western. So they took those and wrote scripts for them, and they're supposedly shopping them around L.A. So who knows? Maybe we'll have a movie made.
That would be such a good story too. It's such a good backstory for the film. You know, the origins of, you know, again, whatever film they choose.
Yeah, people can say, and it started as a soundtrack. What?
Exactly. That's great, man. Interesting.
But again, it all started as a joke and then became a reality. So, yeah.
Now, are any of these things? Geez, I don't even want to ask because I know they're all your children. Are there any these things that are like your favorite thing to do?
Well, I would say playing music is really my favorite thing to do.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's a strange thing, I know, because I've been involved in art for so long, but I've been involved in music just as long. I've always done music. Initially, I started as a drummer, then I moved to being a bass player, and then we got new members in the band. And one of the guys said, "Well," he said, "I don't know how to play guitar. I just play bass." And I said, "Well, I guess I'm playing guitar now."
Yeah.
So then I picked up the guitar. I don't really know how to play anything, but I play. And I can't play other people's music. You know, if you ask me to play a Led Zeppelin song or something, I can't do that. But I can play what's in my head. And so I do that. So I don't know any notes or chords, but I perform. And I remember we had a gig, and one of the members, his parents came to the gig, and when we got through performing, and I knew his parents really well, and when we got through performing, the father was saying, "Wow, you guys were really, really good. You sounded great and all, you know." And I said, "Yeah, I don't even know I don't even know any notes or chords." He's like, "What?" He says, "I've just experienced a miracle." I said, "I really don't know what I'm doing. I just play by feel." But it's the same as with art. I just do what I feel. I mean, the ideas are just continually popping, you know, and people will say, "Don't you worry about people stealing your ideas?" I'm going, steal away. I've got a million more, you know.
Right.
It doesn't worry me. It doesn't bother me. I am so far into the future that, you know, it doesn't bother me.
Well, something that I think, and again, we don't know each other at all, but something that I think I can relate to for myself. A lot of times, whatever my new project is, it just completely takes hold of me. And I can't, it's almost like my head works so fast that I can't get it out quick enough.
Right.
Is that how it feels for you? You have to get this out of your system.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And a lot of times it can be a very silly idea or, sometimes much larger as far as commitment or cost of money, cost of time, whatever. But once it's in my head, I got to get it out or it's going to drive me crazy. And you find yourself in that same boat, I imagine.
Oh yeah. I've got notebooks full of stuff. My phone is full of stuff. You know, if I think up an idea somewhere, I put it in my phone or whatever. That way, I'm never out of ideas. I don't have to rely on being, inspired. I've been inspired many times, but the fact is that if I'm wanting to work on something new or whatever, I have a ready-made list of things to go to,
Right.
So, yeah, and look, some of it will never see the light of day. Okay, that doesn't bother me. I'm not worried by that, But I am an artist who can sit down and figure out, all right, how can this be made? How can I create this? And I can just break it down into the steps that it's going to take, to make this thing a reality. And I have vendors that work for me. I've got people who, I'm not going to go buy a bunch of printing equipment if I want to do some silk screens. I'm going to go have them silk screen,
Yes.
Why waste all your money and time on learning how to do something? Although I do know how to silk screen. But But why waste all your time and money on that when you've got people who already know how to do that? You know, I mean, I need T-shirts printed for a project. Well, I'm not going to go out and buy a T-shirt printer and print them myself. I'm going to go talk to somebody I know who prints T-shirts, you know?
Well, and then it doesn't get in the way of the creativity either, because you're free. While the physical work, the manual work is being done by somebody else, you're free to create again wherever your brain takes you.
Right,
So
exactly. So,
interesting.
you know.
You know what, my friend? We're going to take a quick break right now. We're going to come right back because we got a whole bunch more stuff about you to talk about. Right? Okay. Hey, how you doing? Another nobody here, Travis Myers. This one's going out in particular to all my drinking friends out there, because I got a new favorite thing, and it's called Shanky's Whip, and it is magical. It's Irish whiskey mixed with a little caramel, a little cream, a little vanilla, and it's heavenly. What more can I say? I suggest you pick up a bottle. You can have it as a shot with a cold beer, like I like. On the rocks, it's great. Mix it with a little cola. I promise you, you're going to love this stuff. Next time you raise a glass, think of me, another nobody, Travis Myers. Hey, do the right thing. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any more of my nonsense. All the best, my friends.
Buy our books!
All right, everybody. We are back with my new friend here, Kevin Stark. All right? And we just went through all of your different, well, not all of, many of your different characters, different, what's the word I want to use? Mediums, if you will, that you like to put out into the world. And again, all of them I've looked through your computer. I think you do some really fantastic stuff. But if all of this wasn't enough, all of this creativity that you do, you also created your own, I don't know, philosophy or almost cult, if you will. Am I right or wrong there?
Well, a cult would mean that you have people that follow it. And I don't
Correct.
people that follow it. So I call it a mythology. It really is. I looked at Greek and Roman mythology. I always enjoyed that, reading about it and stuff as a child. And then I look at different religions. I've studied a lot of different religions and don't see how they're that much different from Greek and Roman mythology. If you look at the Catholic religion and all the different patron saints and things like that, I just created my own mythology. And in my mythology, everything has a god or a goddess. Okay?
Correct. And for our listeners too, I'm sorry, I should have introduced it as Starkology, because again, it comes from your heart and your soul and your imagination.
Correct. Well, it does. It comes from Imaginus, actually, the god of imagination, the god of creativity.
Imaginus. He is not on my list. I have a whole list of different gods or different deities within Starkology, but I have yet to meet Imaginus.
Yes. Well, it all comes from Imaginus. And then there was Mesop, who is the god of messages.
Correct.
And he was the one that came to me and said and inspired me and told me that there was this new mythology that was out there and that I was to spread the word of it. And I asked him, I said, well, what are we supposed to call it? And he said, well, Starkology, of course. So
of course.
That's how it got to be, So now I sit in my channeling chair and I channel the gods and goddesses, and they tell me what to paint or draw and how to, put that all together. So if anyone has a complaint, blame the gods. It's not my fault.
I love it. Now, some of these gods that you have, I won't run through all of them, but I'll run through a few of them. You have, I hope I correct them all correct. I'm sorry, say them all correctly. Acamelia, the goddess of flowers.
Mm-hmm.
Iona, the goddess of rainbows. One of my favorites, Boob Tubian, the god of television. All right, where would I be without him? Okay,
right.
Probably my daughter's favorite would be caffeinatus, the god
Uh-huh.
of coffee.
The
All
God
right.
of, he's very popular.
How absolutely, especially these days. There seems to be he seems to have a church on every corner these days. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
and my personal favorite, all right, and what converted me to Starkology is Confectia, who is the goddess of orange Danish rolls. All
That's
right,
right. Yes.
and
What? She's one of my favorites.
well, first of all, she's dead sexy. I love her long, flowing red hair. She's a beautiful woman. Or beautiful goddess, I should say. But also, my grandmother, my now passed, long past, Grandma Helen, made the best orange rolls in the world, and so obviously she had been touched by the hand of Confectius sometime in
Yeah.
her life. You know,
Yes.
and it goes on and on. You've got a god for diamonds, insects, firework, fast food. McMurk, again, one of my favorites. Where
Yeah.
would I
There
be
you
without
go.
him? You
Hmm.
know, uh, uh, what is it? Is it Vinicula, the goddess of vinyl records? I'm not quite sure how to say that one.
Minutia.
Venusia, Venusia. I think it's that I have written it incorrectly on my board here, but yeah, these are it's a fascinating stuff, man. Tell us a little bit more about it if you can.
Well, at the present time, there are about 60 gods and goddesses.
60.
Yes. And I did a card set that was kind of like flashcards. When you were growing up, you look at,
Exactly.
these are dinosaur flashcards. Well, they are flashcards of the gods and goddesses of Starkology. And so we sold those and put those out, sold out of them. And I did another set and sold out of that. And it included all kinds of things. It included the official Starkology Sunstone. It also had the official Starkology wish request cloth and the instructions on how to use it. And then you got an autographed photo of the channeler, which was me, of course. And then you got this booklet that told all about the origin of Starkology and things like that. So that was a big deal. Well, so they've all sold out. And now I'm working on the field guide to the gods and goddesses of Starkology.
I
So,
love it. Yeah,
so
it
that's
sounds like a
that's
lot
in
of
the
fun.
works right now.
Right,
So,
right. Now these, and again, I'm certainly not trying to put stuff out there. You got enough going on. Something like maybe even like a tarot kind of thing might sound like it might be fun with these cards, where
yeah.
the gods can lead you in different directions or help you with different problems.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're really more like the patron saints in the Catholic religion. In that, if your washer and dryer or your dryer or whatever is messing up, you kind of appeal to Cyclus, the god of washers and dryers, and try to get them fixed. Also, like Indigon, who is the god of rugs and carpets, you have to make sure that, your carpets are clean or whatever,
Yes.
things like that. So you just appeal to them, and they have each god or goddess they have followers of their own, things like that. The goddess of house plants, for instance, is, very popular if you want to have your house plants not die on you.
And that would be Verdula,
Verdelan is
Verdela. Excuse my
Verdelan.
pronunciation,
That's
but
quite.
you see, I did read all about it because I was close. I read all of them. I read. You only have, I think, 15 up on the site right now that I've
Right.
read, and but I had a fun time. I had a great time, man. Your site is very fun, and I read through all of those. Starkology was a lot of fun.
Well, we do plan on having a show of just Starkology because we have large 4 foot by 8 foot tapestries and things like that, a lot of other stuff. But the plan is to have a large event that to unveil Starkology to the world. So we'll have, of course, the band will play. There is a Starkology celestial guitar that I will play. There's also linked. There's a wrestling event that will be there. Things like that.
Is
So
there a god of wrestling?
there is a god of Mexican wrestlers. Yes, there is.
Ah, all right.
But there's also a god of television versus the god of movies. So they're going to
Well, you
get
have Boob Tubian. Let me see if I can get it right now. Because you got Boob Tubian in. Now, is
Movies.
Movius the god of movies or just movie theaters?
Well, he's the god of movie theaters. So, he may sub for the god of movies. So, who
Okay.
knows? So, but it'll be a large event. So, and a lot of fun.
Ah, geez, I wish I wasn't so far away. So.
Yeah. Well, maybe it'll tour.
Oh, now you're talking.
Yeah.
Now you're talking. So
Well,
that would
we
be
have to
great.
spread the word.
Absolutely, absolutely. No, I think it's a great time, man. I like all of that stuff. So, all right, we went through your art, you got your music, we got this tremendous Stargology thing, which I think is so much fun. But you also are what is it? The owner, operator, curator. I don't know exactly what the right word would be to use, but for the toy and action figure museum, correct?
Yes, I am the curator and the executive director.
Okay.
And we are a nonprofit organization. We're a community project. Now, though I hold those titles, I don't take a salary. I donate to it. So that is my personal, also community project. But it was built by the citizens of Pauls Valley. They wanted to see unique tourist attractions in the downtown area. And I joked with them that I was the unofficial tourist attraction because I would do so many interviews and the cameraman and all, they would show my vast toy collection of thousands of action figures and toys. And when they did, as soon as that would air on television, people, total strangers, would come and knock on my door and say, "Can we come in and see the toys?" I was like, "Well, I'm in here working, but yeah, come on in," And so for a long time, it wasn't really open to the public, but I welcomed the public in. Well, so when the town did a visioning process, they wanted to plan their growth for 10 years. They said, well, we want like a theater group. We want to have an arts and cultural center, and we want to have unique tourist attractions in the downtown area. And I said, I'm the unofficial attraction. Maybe we ought to make it official. I was joking once again, and they took me serious. So it took us actually 5 years to get open because there wasn't a building big enough yet in the downtown area to house us. And a department store went out of business who had been in business here for 75 years. Well, when they went out of business, they had a building there of 7,000 square feet. So we rented that and gutted the building and built all the display areas and put in new heat and air and all that. And I had a day and a half to put the toys in. Okay.
That was actually my next question for you was, again, I've only seen it via the internet. All right. But it looks like a large place and it looks like you got a lot of stuff in there. So is the museum itself the entire 7,000 square feet?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. There's an office in the back.
That's a big space.
Yeah.
That is a big space.
So
how many do you know, or can you imagine or guesstimate how many toys you actually have in there?
Well, of the action figures, we have over 25,000 action figures.
25,000?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And not everything is on display because we still don't have enough room to display everything that we have. We have 3 more buildings full of toys. Okay. That are just storage. All right. So, and 2 of those are my buildings.
Yeah.
So, and gosh, I don't even charge them rent. So yeah, we have a lot.
That's a lot, man.
Yeah, and I
That
had
is a lot.
a large collection. Still have a large collection, and we have gotten donations over the years. This October, we will have been open 20 years. So
yes, I have that right here in my notes that this is your 20th year. So when you hit October, it'll be 20 years.
Yeah.
Good for you, man. That's great. That is great because it's especially doing the not-for-profit thing. It can be very tough, in a small town. Your town, Pauls Valley, is only like 6,000 people, right?
Yeah, it's only 6,300, and it's been that way for a long time. Uh, but we get 15 to 20,000 visitors a year go through the museum. So,
Interesting. Wow.
yeah, and we've had people from over 40 foreign countries, every state in the union. We've had tons of people come through. So, and I have
It
got
sounds,
to meet lots of cool collectors from all
yeah.
over the world.
It
So,
sounds too again for such a small town, and I'm not beating up on it, but it sounds like you have a very vibrant artist community. If you have other galleries, I mean, a town that size often has zero art, as you know, but you have other galleries beside your own, and then you do the fifth the fifth Friday, which again is 4 times a year.
yeah. Mhm.
4 times a year, plus this super cool museum. So it sounds like you really have a happening little town there.
Yeah, yeah, we kind of do. And I've got other projects I would love to build for the community. Yeah, but hey, yeah, priorities.
Priorities, exactly. Exactly. Wow, that's yeah. As a kid, I mean, like everybody, I had my toy phase and the action figures. Of course, was GI Joes. I had two or three of those. I had my first one was back when they still had painted hair instead of the fuzzy hair, and he was the
Oh,
astronaut. That was my first ever GI Joe. Got a couple
so
more after that, but my favorite of all time was the Best of the West collection,
oh yeah,
and
uh,
I loved them, man.
Johnny West.
I had was who was that? I had the guy. I don't know. He was in Brown. I'm not sure exactly what his name was.
That was
And
Johnny
then
West.
that was
Yeah,
Johnny West. I
yeah.
had
And then his wife
General.
was Jane West.
I had uh, General Custer. I
Yeah,
had Geronimo,
right,
and I had the Indian. I can't remember his name that had a mohawk. There was an Indian that had
right.
a mohawk,
We
and
have all those.
those were the four that I had plus horses, and they came with all the things, and especially being a New York City boy who would watches John Wayne movies on the weekends. Man, did I love those Best of the West when I was a kid.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I bought a Western toy collection uh, from a lady. She had a lot of Roy Rogers stuff, Hopalong Cassidy, and all kinds of stuff. A lot of that Johnny West stuff. So, yeah, I have a huge Western toy collection. So, and we trade stuff out all the time. So, we'll have just a large display of the Western stuff for a year or two, and then we'll pull that out and replace it with Star Wars or something. So
Yeah, keep it interesting, right? Make
yeah,
people come
yeah,
back.
yeah.
Cool.
Well, you got to rotate it, especially since we don't have room to have everything out at once. I look at it as like the King Tut exhibit. It's not there forever. It's
Correct.
there for a while. So, yeah.
So obviously you have a great love of toys, obvious, right?
Oh
But
yeah,
we haven't really touched on you. You were in the toy business. You created toys.
I designed toys and toy accessories and things like that. Yeah,
And in
did.
fact, much of your work was done in Los Angeles.
That's correct. So I would commute from Pauls Valley to Los Angeles and
Right.
work. So,
Yep. To do
but
the work.
then of course the internet got to where I could just do stuff over the internet. So that was nice. I didn't have to sit in airports anymore.
Now, if you could, for our listeners again, what what toys have you worked on and or created, outright created or designed, whatever the correct word is, uh, that all of our listeners have known and played with and loved over the years?
Well, the first toy line I worked on was the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh yeah,
Did a lot of stuff for those. Made sewer maps and all kinds of stuff for the turtles, and then did stuff for the Toxic Crusaders, uh, which was based on the Toxic Avenger movies, and did a lot of that. Designed characters for that. Worked on the Simpsons for
oh, all right.
boys, so did a lot of that kind of stuff. Did a little design work on Furbies, if you
I
remember.
remember Furbies, sure.
And Toonsylvania was a Fox Kids cartoon that was produced by Steven Spielberg. And I did the whole line for that, everything in that. And then Zorro, I did that for an Italian company. Did a thing called The Magician for a company out of France. I work for companies all over the world. So
Right.
I'm just kind of a freelance guy.
Yeah. But it's I hope it served you well, and you certainly have brought, geez, how much joy have you brought to millions of kids all over the world?
Yeah.
All
And
over the
some
world.
adults.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Yeah.
And adult
Well, I know.
collectors.
Yeah. Now, like I know, my kids, were crazy over the Mutant Ninja Turtles and the what was the toxic thing again?
Toxic Crusaders.
Toxic Crusaders. That rings a bell too. So I'm curious if my son had those when he was a kid.
Well, he
That
probably
definitely,
did. It came out the same time as the Turtles,
yeah.
the first Turtles, and done by Playmates also. That toy company did both lines, and they discovered that the Toxic Crusaders was the only thing really competing with the Turtles. So they put an end to that, which was too bad.
Imagine that. You
Yeah.
think they'd want a corner of the market and make money in two different directions, but
Well, they were making more money in the Turtles. So,
right.
you know.
I imagine so. Cool. Interesting. And you are an interesting guy, my friend. You really are.
I don't have a mission other than I just have fun. I enjoy what I do. I come to my studio every day and say, what do I want to do today? So I just have a great time. And I've done a lot of different stuff over the years. I bought a winery and converted it into a restaurant. So I have
Interesting.
fine
Tell us a
dining
little bit about
restaurant.
that. And
Do what?
is that also in Pauls Valley?
Well, it was. I've sold the restaurant, and decided, well, I really need to be an artist instead of a restaurant owner. So,
Well,
but I
as a
did
guy,
find out how to make money at the restaurant business. Just own the building.
yes, there you go.
Let them rent it from
There
you.
you go. Yeah. Well, as a guy who's owned a couple of bars and a couple of small restaurants, it is a tough business, as you know,
Yeah.
and it does not give you the freedom that you
No.
now enjoy to create your art,
Right.
However, being a landlord, not such a bad deal.
Yeah, not such a bad deal. Yeah.
I am
And
fond
I
of both.
also learned to being a landlord is better if you own commercial property instead of, home property. So much better. People tend to take care of it better.
Yes.
It's their business.
Exactly. So, all right, my friend. I mean, is there anything that I haven't asked you you'd like to speak about?
No, I think we've pretty much covered it all.
Right.
Now,
Kevin,
I
really had.
well, I've gone around and I've been asked to do talks and stuff like at colleges and all, and I've had to look myself up on the internet to remember what I've done. Okay, because a lot of times I don't remember all the stuff I've done, and so because I'm always looking forward and not behind me,
Right.
so there's not this past glory like a lot of people think. To me, I've forgotten all about it. I'm moving forward, and what's the next project? So,
Well, from where I'm sitting, I really like the way you think, and I like the way that your brain works because I like that very much. Again, looking forward, keep going forward, keep moving, keep busy. Because it's life is for living, man, and you really seem to be living a good life, and I envy you.
It's been a blast.
Yeah. All right. Well, on that, I hope you are encouraging some of our listeners to enjoy their lives as well. Please, people, please look this fella up. Again, let me make sure I get it right now. KevinStarkArt.com.
That's it.
All right for me. Good. All right. Well, all the best, my friend.
All right. Well, thanks,
and I
Trevor.
really, the next time I'm in Oklahoma, I'm absolutely coming to visit you.
Oh, yeah, definitely come and visit.
I will.
Get you
Yes, sir.
a T-shirt.
All right. Well, now how can I say no?
Yeah.
All the best, my friend. Thank you.
Take care.
All right, there you go. Artist extraordinaire, Kevin Stark. If ever you're in the Pauls Valley area, please go check out his gallery. Go check out the Toy and Action Figure Museum, something I absolutely intend to do sometime in the future. Until next time, my friends, please do the right thing. Hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next week. All the best. Listen up. This one's important. I'd like to try to encourage you, please, to give to the Stephen Siller Foundation, Tunnel to Towers, at T2T.org. That's letter T, number 2, letter T.org. Do good for those who've done good for you.